Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? Whoa, look how many people there are. There are a heap load of you all here. Amazing to see you all here today. Thank you for joining us. I am not Vin, obviously. I am Dan. I will be your moderator for the next 5 days. You've probably seen a whole bunch of emails come at you from myself over the last week or so. So I am Vin's head of operations. So great to meet you all. Thank you so much for joining us for the first masterclass of 2024. What a way to start the year, hey? With us here in South Australia. So just quickly, I am actually a psychologist by trade. I just help Vin out. Well, usually it was part-time, but that's kind of changed as of late, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm going to be leaving notes and whatnot throughout, so you'll see those pop up here and there. I'm just going to go through some basic housekeeping just to sort of set the scene for the rest of the next 5 days. So bear with me. We're going to go through things one at a time. So first and foremost, so amazing to see you all. First up, I know in the participants sort of list, there are some people whose names may not reflect who you are. Maybe you've got your Xbox gamer tag as your Zoom name, like Dragon Slayer 420. Blaze it or whatever. So please, if your name doesn't reflect who you are, go into participants, the tab, go to the 3 dots, and you'll be able to rename yourself to hopefully whatever your name is. That would be amazing. Yeah, so if we start with that. Second of all, let's use my little icon there. Please turn on your cameras. We love to see your faces. As you saw already with our little startup screen, we love to just see everybody. It just helps with our engagement. And Vin and I, we love to see your faces and your reactions when we kind of drop some little surprises for you throughout. So please, if you can, turn on your cameras. If you're in your pajamas, no judgment, it's totally chill. We recognize there's people from all over the world right now. So speaking of which, let me know in the chat, whereabouts are you tuning in from? We're really curious to see. Far away, where are you from? Wow, okay, here we go. Jeepers, Minnesota, Slovenia, Switzerland. I love Roger Federer, my personal hero, by the way. Got Sydney, Tasmania, Australia, Japan, Calgary. Holy, we've got people from all over the world, which is pretty insane. So, love it. Korea as well, far out. Oh my goodness, I love myself some good bulgogi. Hey, so amazing to see so many of you joining us from all over the world. So, that being said, please, we really want you to get the most out of this masterclass. So if you can, please put away any distractions around you. Of course, the big one being the personal pacifier, the phone. If you can, put that on flight mode. If you can, that'd be amazing. If you've got kids running around, put them on flight mode as well. We really want you to lean into this entire process and get the most out of it. All right, next up, social media. So, hey, if you'd like to connect with any of us, I've just posted the link in the chat. But if you want to sort of, I don't know, like shout us out or do anything with any of the masterclass that you're experiencing today over the next several days, you could do a selfie or, I don't know, whatever you want to do, you can tag us. And then Vin's social media team are already aware that people are probably going to be tagging who are here today and for the next several days. So if that's the case, Vin's team will probably do something, maybe a bit of a shout out here and there. But yeah, feel free to connect with us if you like. Cool. We've already tested out the chat function already, but basically if chat gets a little bit too distracting, if you look on the very bottom, you should see that there's a little arrow button next to the chat button. You can hit that button and it'll give you the option to turn off chat preview. So feel free to do that if you want to, and don't be afraid of losing anything or missing anything in the chat. We'll probably paste the chat log anyways, along with the recording to this entire session at the end. We'll put it on a page and we'll send the link out to you via email at the conclusion of today's session. So basically, that will all be happening. And what the heck? Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure. Okay, my screen seems to be doing some funny things, I think. Alrighty, so with that being said, the next thing I have to talk about, sorry, what if people are, all right, cool. Sorry, just had to handle something just there. Alrighty, so that's chat being spoken about, and chat is really used to engage with us, engage with each other, chat with Vin. So that's all well and good. Yeah, so feel free to use chat for that. Now, if you're wanting to send in questions for Vin to answer, we're not going to use chat for that. We're actually going to use something else, and we are going to use something called Slido. So I've just put a QR code up there for all of you right now. Cool. I just need to check something afterwards. Whoops. Cool. Sorry, needed to just change something, a little security setting to make sure that we don't have whiteboards popping up all over the place. So getting back to Slido, Slido is something that we're using to basically, use for questions and whatnot. So if you do have any questions throughout, please go to the link that I've pasted in the chat, or you can use the QR code that I've got over here. And basically, when you click on that, what will happen is it'll take you to a screen. You have to enter your name first and foremost, and then you'll see a screen, whoops, like this, okay? So you can just type your questions and hit enter, and it will post your questions, sort of like this. And yes, haha, Vin, very funny. Why do I take so long to get through all of this? It's just what needs to be happening, my man. So what's really interesting is that before you post a question, please look through the questions first, because if someone's asked your exact same question, what we would like you to do is to upvote that question, as you can see right here. So you can see that red circle, you can upvote questions. And basically what will happen is at the end of today, Vin will take the top 10 most upvoted questions and answer them, okay? And the reason we're doing that is because we want to find the most important questions and make sure they get answered by Vin, okay? So make sure you use either the QR code, I'll bring it back up again, or you can just use the link that is in the chat, okay? All right, so that's all done. And the reason why I'm just doing that, sorry. Just getting ready the next link. So I've just pasted also in the chat just then. You should see that. I'm just gonna remove that. So if you haven't already, bring up that link. It'll open up a new tab for you. And it should look like this. Let me just clear that. Just looks like this. There'll be a bunch of exercises. We will go through them one by one. We'll explain everything. So no need to panic, but just have it up as a separate tab for us, and it'll make things a lot easier. All right, cool. So with that out of the way. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up the exercises is because we're going to use breakout rooms quite liberally throughout today, as well as the next 4 days. Now, if you've never used breakout rooms before, don't panic. Just to explain, a breakout room is, well, if you think about this here as the main auditorium of a conference, for example. So we're all here, we're all learning, and then what happens is you might break out into separate smaller rooms with small groups to do exercises. So that's what a breakout room is. So in terms of a breakout room, just to bring it up again, that is what it's going to look like, okay? Now, it shouldn't, when breakouts happen, I'll just hit a button and it should send you all out automatically. You shouldn't have to do anything. It shouldn't have to look like this, where you don't have the option to join. It'll just send you and put you into your breakout rooms. Now, if it doesn't automatically put you into a breakout room, what you'll need to do is on the bottom, you'll see this button. Yeah, you'll see this join breakout room button, and you'll just have to click that button and then you'll send yourself out automatically. Now, if your screen's too small to actually see this button, you'll have to look for the options button, the more button that's right there. It's next to the leave button. Don't hit the red leave button, please. Hit the more button and it will come up with this join breakout room button, and you'll click that and you'll be able to send yourself off to the breakout room, okay? So the reason why I'm talking about breakouts is because we're going to practice and kick things off with some fun. We're going to do a breakout room to start with a little game called 2 Truths and a Lie. So how this works is we're going to put you into groups of about 3 to 4 people. Unfortunately, there will not be any time for pleasantries, and it's not because we're trying to be rude, it's because we want to maximize the time that we have to learn and practice our skills. So forgive us for that. So when you join the room, make sure you give your group a wave, go, hey, everyone, start, and then start in alphabetical order. So if you're at the top of the list, your name is Aaron, then when you start, just go, hey, everyone, my name is, in this case, hi, my name is Dan, I'm from South Australia, and then begin the challenge. And the challenge is we want you to share 3 facts about yourself. 2 will be truthful, real facts about you, and 1 will be a lie, right? So it might be, yeah, I'm Dan, I'm South Australian, and I'm Brazilian. Okay, so after you've done that, everyone else in your group will try to guess which of your facts was a lie. Once everyone's had a guess, then you can reveal which one was a lie. Yes, I'm not actually Brazilian, funnily enough, I'm Chinese. And then you move on to the next person's turn, okay? So again, final reminder, if the breakout rooms don't automatically put you into the room itself, then we want you to find the join breakout room button, which should be on the bottom. And if you can't find that, then you have to click the more button on the bottom as well, and then it'll bring up the join breakout room button, okay? So Before we kick things off, I'm going to give you 1 minute to think about your 2 truths and a lie, and then we'll kick things off, all right? So we'll see you shortly. 1 minute, think about your 2 truths and a lie. Alrighty, so hopefully you've got your 2 truths and a lie right now. So I'm going to send you all out to the breakout rooms. And again, final reminder, if it doesn't break you out automatically, then whoops, hitting the wrong buttons. Great start. We want you to hit the join breakout room button on the bottom. All right, so that's it from me. I've all got the rooms ready to go, and you're going to be groups of 4 to 5. So hey, everyone, have fun. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back, everyone. How was that experience? Hopefully it was fun. Let me know in chat if you like. Group 99 is the best. Wayne Gretzky, what the? Okay, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take or something? Yeah, brilliant. So let me know in chat. Did you manage to guess correctly? Let me know, yes or no? Yes or no, let me know. Yes or no? Did you manage to guess correctly? Yes or no? Okay, so we've got about 50-50 almost. All right, yeah, it's pretty tight. Okay, a lot of people saying yes or no, so that's hilarious. Oh, that's awesome. All right, fantastic. All right, well, hey, that is pretty much it for my prep stuff. So again, so amazing to have you all here. And with that being said, it's time to turn over to the person you're all here for. So he doesn't really need an introduction, and I don't want to, pad his, ego and head too much because he won't be able to get out the door otherwise. But suffice to say, he is the most followed communications coach on social media right now, which forgot to mention, there is a reason why he's got this big shiny thing for 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I know, like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Better not drop it, otherwise I will get fired. But Vinh is an absolutely amazing communicator. He's definitely changed my life, and I know that he's going to change yours. So, hey, without any further ado, it's time to turn over to Vinh.
Hi, hello, good to see you all. I mean, finally, well, Dan took so long, doesn't he? He talks way too much. It's not the Dan show, it's the Vinh show. Hey, good to see all of you. Great to see your lovely faces. I feel a little bit disappointed that I didn't get to play the 2 truths and a lie. So I'm going to play 2 truths and a lie too. See how well you know me. First piece of information I'm going to give you is I drive a mid-sized truck. Second piece of information I'm going to give you is I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. Third piece of information is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and I know each other, and he follows me on Instagram. Which one's the lie? Yes, in the chat, please. Not the truck. I like it. We've got black belt. We've got truck. A lot of people saying truck here. A lot of people think Taekwondo too. But I reckon it's going to be. It's probably going to be the truck. It looks like the truck as I look at the word cloud. That's the biggest one. You think that's the lie? Well. Let me tell you. The truth is, I do drive a mid-sized truck. They do classify Jeep Gladiators in Australia as a mid-sized truck. And the second truth is, well. Yeah, The Rock does follow me, which is absolutely ridiculous. Dwayne does follow me on social media, and we've actually exchanged a few voice messages, which is outrageous. And if we have time on here, I'll share with you what our voice messages we're exchanging. The lie is not a black belt in Taekwondo. I'm very easy to beat up. So if you see me in public and you want to beat me up, very easy. Very easy. I don't run very fast either. So I'm just easy prey animal, very easy. But look, it's so good to see all your lovely faces. Thank you for joining. I know we've got people from all over the world. It was incredible to see all the different countries that were listed. Amazing to have you join me. I want to make sure, again, I know Dan's talked about it, but I want to make sure you use Slido, okay? So if you've got questions for me about communication skills, if you do have those questions, make sure you ask me on Slido, all right? Make sure you use that QR code there. The link is already in the chat as well. Make sure you use that if you've got questions about communication skills. Because the chat that we have here, that's used for us to interact with each other during this live experience. However, if you've got specific questions, use Slido, check for your question. If it's already there, upvote it, because that way we are able to systemize the Q&A process. To begin our class in 2024, I was journaling at the beginning of the year as we moved from 2023 over to 2024. And I thought to myself, what has been the most powerful lesson that I've learned in the last 20 years of my life? I'm just turned 37. I thought, what's the most powerful lesson I learned? And with that, what was the moment in which I learned it? And we have to go back to 2007. This is the moment precisely where I learned the lessons that fundamentally changed my life, and I believe will change yours too. There's 3 lessons within this. In 2007, I had one really big goal. And the big goal of mine in 2007 was to become a professional magician, a full-blown professional magician. And my definition of that success, as I believe we all should define our own version of success, my definition was very simple. There's 52 cards in a pack. I wanted to make $1,000 every week. There's 52 weeks in a year. I wanted to make $52,000. That was it. That was my goal. Okay, I kept it rather simple. I thought it was rather serendipitous, the 52. So then I began my journey. And I wanted to find a picture of me in 2007, and really don't like this photo, but we'll show it anyway. This is me in 2007. So that's 2007, Vinh. I don't know why I thought this picture was a good idea. And I thought to myself, okay, I want to become this professional magician, so let's learn this realm of professional magic. So at the time, there's a magician in South Australia, not to call him out or anything, but his name was Magic Mike. Not the stripper, obviously, he's a magician. And I would go and watch Magic Mike all the time. Again, please, not a stripper, he's a magician. I'd watch him all the time. And I saw him perform at this private event. And it was a roving magic event, which meant that it's a networking party, and he would rove from group to group to group to group and perform. So I was following him in a very creepy way to every group that he would go to. And after about the 4th group, I've noticed something really weird about him. He was started to perform the same tricks as he performed in group 1, 2, and 3. And then when I watched him again at group 10, group 20, he was doing the same 10 tricks over and over and over again. And I thought to myself, that is lame. That is so lame. You only know 10 tricks. That's crazy. So I thought to myself, okay, to become successful in this arena, I'm going to learn 100. I'm going to learn 20 card tricks, 20 coin tricks, 20 mind reading tricks, 20 stage tricks, and 20 gimmicked tricks. 5 categories of magic. So I thought 100, I'll 10x this person, Magic Mike. So I became obsessive. And at the end of year 1, after 12 months of doing this, I want you to guess in the chat, how many gigs do you think I got? After trying to learn 100 tricks, how many gigs do you think I got? Oh, good. Okay, so lots of people think, 50. Okay, so thank you for your belief in me. But you'll be shocked with the answer. Because after I focused on all the different pieces of magic and categories of magic, I landed 0. Yes, I landed 0. It was nothing. I was so frustrated. I couldn't understand why. I thought, what the hell? Maybe I need more time. So at year 2, now here's what you won't expect. At year 2, this is where it changes. How many gigs do you think I got in year 2? Have a guess. Everything changed here. You caught on. It's not 100, it's 0 again. And then again, I didn't understand the lesson. I thought that the key is, again, to learn more tricks. So at the end of year 3, it's not 0. It's not 0. At the end of year 3, have a guess. How many do you think I got now? How many guess? 1. 3 years into my career of close-up magic, I got 1 gig. Made about a total of $400. And I couldn't understand why. I was so frustrated. Someone who had the repertoire of 10, I now had the repertoire of hundreds. I was not getting booked, he was getting booked. It wasn't until I came across this lesson from Bruce Lee did I truly understand what was going on. And this is the lesson from Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee says, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced 1 kick 10,000 times. Enter the dragon. This is the thing that really, really made me understand the power of mastery. Because I'd become the man that was practicing 10,000 different tricks. Whereas Magic Mike, incredibly wise in that he was the man that practiced 1 trick 10,000 times. I didn't understand the importance of mastery early on in my journey. So I would just keep trying to learn lots and lots and lots and lots of different things. And I bring this story up because it's the same thing when it comes to communication. When people get started with a communication skills journey, they binge content on communication and they want to learn 10,000 different techniques and tricks. But again, I want to remind you right now that that's not the path forward. Because around the time when I learned that, it's better to get good at 10 things as opposed to trying to get good at 1,000 things. So that around the same time, kind of my operating system, my brain started to update, and I realized that, what that's talking about is the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is simply, what's the 20% of things I can focus on that's going to give me 80% of my results? So again, understanding mastery is important. Focus on the foundations. So what is the 20% in communication? The 20% in communication is what I've put together in the stage program for you. I've distilled that for you. Now, I've used the 20 to achieve 80% of the results. So how do I know it works? It's because I've used it all myself. I've used it all myself with my loved ones like Dan, except I don't love him that much. I love him a little bit. But again, I want to help use the distilled 20% to help you achieve 80% of your goals. So the stage programs, it's the 20% distilled. So the goal is, again, I remind you, because some of you would have already done the Stage Academy, most of you wouldn't have, just understand that mastery is a process of repetition of the foundations. Don't become obsessed with all the little tricks and tidbits, because it's not about that. It's becoming masterful with the foundations. Now, I want to share this with you as well. How do you practice then? How do you practice the things we learn here? And this is a critical piece of the puzzle that we must learn immediately before we begin. But the thing is, most people in today's world don't practice the things they learn. We live in a world now where people are obsessed about knowledge acquisition, not knowledge application. So we listen to a new podcast, listen to a new YouTube video, listen to a new book, read a new book, go to a workshop. We continually become so obsessive about acquiring knowledge, but that leads to no power. If you just acquire knowledge non-stop, Jim Quick says you become a library. Okay, you just become a library if you do this. Whereas what you want to do is take the knowledge and apply it. That's the first step that most people miss. So I've created a mastery process. The mastery process is rather simple, and I've used this to be able to achieve all things that I've achieved in my life so far. Now, when you think about the mastery process, it's a triangle, because a triangle is the strongest shape on earth. Now, when it comes to the mastery process, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to try and apply. You've just got to try and apply the things you've learned. And that's why the breakout room feature is so important. As we learn during this experience, I'm immediately going to push you to apply the knowledge. So you just got to try and apply. You just give it a go. Okay? Now, most people don't do this. And then out of the people that even do this, a few of them only do the next step. All right? And the next step is review and reflect. Review and reflect. Most people, after they try something, they try it and they go, oh, that was too difficult, that was too crazy, I don't want to look back at it. It's kind of like in high school when we do a test. After you do a test and you failed, what do? Never look at that test again. Whereas the students that do better, when they fail it, they sit down, why did I fail? They review and they reflect on that experience. So you try and apply, then you review and then you reflect, and then what do you do next? Well, next, the thing that most people never get to is plan and improve. You've got to plan and you've got to improve. Once you've planned and improved, then what do? You try and apply again. You try and you apply again. And it's never ending. This is absolutely never ending, this mastery process. And to me, this is how we're going to approach our experience together. We're going to try things. We're going to apply things, then we're going to review. We've built in time for you to review and reflect. And then in your own time, you've got to extract what you've got here from reviewing and reflecting to be able to work out, well, what am I going to do differently? And then you try again. That's the process of mastery. It's how I've been able to build what I believe is a world-class studio out of South Australia. From this studio, serve Fortune 500 companies from all over the world, even though it's at 1 a.m. in the morning, which absolutely sucks. But again, I'm able to do this because of this formula. This wasn't the first studio that I built. Let me show you the first studio that I built. Have a look at this. Yes, that was me. That was me at the beginning of COVID. Dyed my hair blonde, went a little bit crazy. And I did this. So I started with my studio like this. And then I realized that, okay, well, you've tried that, Vin, and that's not very visually engaging. So then I tried to improve it, because in the other one I was sitting. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to plan something. I'm going to improve it. I'm going to try. Have a look at this. I'm going to try standing. Awesome. So then I stood in my videos. Then when I stood, I thought, okay, it kind of lacks a visual background. I mean, why do I have a Peloton and a bike exercising machine back there? Why do I have that? So I thought, let's radiate intelligence. Let's put books behind me, like most people do. Books I've never read. Let's put that behind me. And then as I did this, I started to realize, okay, I should build a studio. So I did. And then my video webcam crapped out and started getting really blurry, and it looked like crap, really. And then I thought, okay, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to get a better camera. So then when I got a better camera, try things differently, the lighting looked like I was filming The Godfather. And then I thought, okay, so I'm going to change the lighting. I'll improve it again. I'll change the lighting. Then it started to look good. But then what happened is while I'm presenting for Fortune 500 companies, those little pads you see, the blue and black pads on the back of the wall, they were stuck on the wall with double stick tape. They started falling off midway through presentation. And I was writing on the whiteboards and they would be knocked over, things would fall over, and I'm doing that as I'm delivering to clients. And then I realized, oh, okay, so review and reflect on that. Okay, Vin, you need to plan and improve and try to make it better. So then I engaged with a backdrop stylist who helped me design my backdrop, right? And then I realized, okay, well, let's have multiple cameras to make it more visually dynamic and engaging. So in the same studio that I had before, I have double angles. And again, just time over and over and over and over and over again. And again, today I have a multiple studio camera and I've changed it multiple times, And I'm just going to go through that process forever. This is iteration 21, and I'm already planning for iteration 22. This is the key. This is the key to mastery that most people don't follow, because most people never apply, okay? They never apply. And then for those who do apply, they never review and reflect. And for those who do reflect, they rarely go and plan to see how they're going to improve next. The day that I stop wanting to do this, I will do the world a favor, and I'll no longer teach communication skills. I'll no longer teach communication skills, because it means I'm no longer going to be in service of the world. Because as I improve, I serve the world better. Same thing, apply this to your communication skills. We acquire new knowledge, we try and apply. Review and reflect, plan, non-stop. That's the path forward. I've done this with my social media, done this with my speaking career. Whatever's worked in my life, I've done this. The agenda for the next 5 days is rather simple. The agenda for the next 5 days is the following. Day one, we're going to go through the 3 pillars of communication. Then we're also going to dive into vocal mastery and vocal foundations on day one. Day two, as you join me all for tomorrow, we're going to deep dive further into vocal mastery. We're going to talk about vocal archetypes. We're going to experiment with the different archetypes, different energies that exist within us, different characters that exist within us. We're also going to deep dive into body language, how to use body language more effectively in person and virtually. Then day three, favorite day of all, and the most powerful skill of all, storytelling. We're going to deep dive into storytelling. Day four, we're going to learn analogies, metaphors, and similes, and learn how to use analogies, metaphors, and similes to make our conversations more engaging and to be more influential and to simplify the complex when we're speaking. Day five, we walk through the confidence process and we end on active listening. That's the 5-day schedule. Now, look, let's begin with pillar one. There's going to be one thing, my friends. There's going to be one thing that holds you back during this experience. There's going to be one thing that robs you from getting the most out of our time together. And that one thing is fear. Now, before we talk any more about fear, I want you all to experience fear. So I want you to watch a video. And all I'm going to say is, if you find blood a little bit gory, please watch a little closer. Here we go.
Something that will make you do that is the infamous spike trick.
We're going to raise the stakes a little bit. This time we're going to use nail. See the point right there. Someone hold up their hand.
This modern magic trick increases the chance of injury and pain. An exponent of the spike trick is street magician Chris Korn, who places a metal spike under polystyrene cups and tries to avoid slamming his palm onto the spike even after they're moved around.
Around a bit.
Chris didn't understand how dangerous it was. While rehearsing, I mix up the cups and I see where the spike is.
All right, and look, just so you know, there's no magnets, anything in my hands.
I see him notice where the spike is because of how the trick works. Then he raises his hand real high and slams it down on exactly the cup with the spike underneath it.
Just gonna wave this.
It is terrible to watch. I took no pleasure in that. I mean, I watched it 7 times, but I took no pleasure in it because it is, oh, God.
1, 2, 3.
And that's what we're about to do. Just quick call out, Dan, there was Mike, and there was Katrina. You were smiling throughout the entire experience, which is a little bit concerning because people were like, oh no, what's happening? And then just those particular 3 people I saw on the screen were completely smiling. So look, we play this video because while we're playing the video, Dan and I are looking through all the screens, looking at all your faces, to pick the person that seems to be the most fearful. We have identified the person who's the most fearful. So Dan, could we invite the most fearful person to join me on the virtual stage? It's not a volunteer. It's rather what we call a voluntold. So hello, is that Suan? Suan, hello Suan. Please unmute yourself. Tell us where you're all from. Unmute yourself first of all too. Yeah, there you go. Say hello. Tell us where you're from.
Hi, I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, Las Vegas. Oh my goodness, I was there last year in March. Can we give Suan a big hello in the chat, please? Let's send her lots of love. She's my voluntold for the day. So Suan, what's going to happen here is very simple. Suan, I just want to share with you that, and thank you, I see the love coming through the chat for Suan there, it's beautiful. 4 bags, Suan. In these 3 bags that are closed, what I'm going to show you inside is just a block of wood with a hole in it. That's all really, just a block of wood with a hole in it. And same thing in these 2 bags. In this bag, currently empty, because what we're going to do is we're going to put a block of wood with a nail into that one. So I'm just going to come a bit closer. I just want to show you the palm of my hand so you can see, like again, it does dig into the skin. Right? It's an absolute real nail, not using any of that fake stuff. So I'm going to put the one with the nail into this bag here. So please watch. I've got my sleeves rolled up. It goes into this bag. You need to know which bag it goes into, this one. We're going to number them, Suan. This is bag number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? And I'm going to mix them around, and you have to, in a moment, guess which bag the nail is in. So here we go. We're going to start off really easy. Please pay attention, Suan. So really, I mean, really, Vin, this is child's play. I mean, what are you even doing, Vin? Right? And it only gets confusing when I start to do things like this, Suan. I'll start to just kind of, oh, sorry, I'll turn back this way. And at this point, Suan, I'm just going to ask you, Suan, a simple yes or no. Do you know where the nail is with 100% conviction?
No.
Good. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. Good. Now here's the thing. But everybody else in the chat is thinking, but Vin knows where it is. And it's true. I do know still where it is. You bloody hope so. Now, the thing is, to remove the layer of knowledge, my layer of knowledge, Suan, I'm going to get you to decide which bag I slam my hand on. Okay? So whatever you say is absolutely final. And Suan, I'm going to promise you, I'm not going to slam the bag like this. I'm going to slam it hard as I physically can. This is bag number 1. This is bag number 2. This is bag number 3. This is bag number 4. The number 4, so you know, in the Asian culture, you may know this, it's also known and pronounced say, which is another word for die. So would you like bag 1, 2, 3, or die? Free choice.
I'm sweating.
So am I.
Oh, geez. I don't want you to stab yourself. I'm sure that's the goal here. So I'll say 1. I don't know. 1.
Good choice, Suan. Well done. Thank you very much for this.
Okay.
My hands are literally in yours. Perfect. Good choice. Now, as we continue this process, people tend to get it wrong because the odds are, getting worse. So again, this is bag 1, 2, and 3. Which one would you like?
3. No, 2. Number 2.
Oh God.
Number 2. The one in the middle.
Suan, you have one chance to change your mind. Would you like to change or stick?
Stay with the one right there in the middle.
Good choice. Well done, Suan. Thank you. Good. Good. Now, Suan, there's 2. Now, again, like I said, this is where most people get it wrong. So, Suan, last choice you have. This is bag 1. This is bag 2. Your choice.
Thanks, Dan. The first one?
This one?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, sure. Let's go
No,
for it.
no, you got to tell me, do you want bag 1 or do you want bag 2, Suan?
I don't want either bag, but let's go with that one.
You got to choose 1 or 2. Final answer in 3, 2, 1.
1.
Give her a big round of applause. She's correct. There was no nail in bag 1. But you see, here's the thing. Keep Suan there. You see, the thing is, we've all been so afraid of this bag. We've all been so afraid of this bag. Yeah, unless you're Mike, you're still laughing. But the thing is about this bag, all the fear that you felt in the last 5 minutes for me, all of the anxiety that you felt for me, Suan, all of you who felt fear for me, well, that fear was completely unjustified. Do you know why that fear was completely unjustified? Well, because look. Since the beginning, I'd already palmed the nail out. There were no nails through this entire experience. Thank you, Suan. Can we give her lots of love, as she probably now has suffered from PTSD. But you see, why did I do this? Why did I do this experience? What for? What madness am I doing? Why would I do something like this? I did this because this becomes an experiential metaphor we'll keep coming back to during our entire experience. Throughout the class that Dan and I have created, the virtual masterclass here at stage, there are no nails. There are no nails. This is a safe environment for you to be able to explore your voice, explore storytelling, explore your ability to get out of your comfort zone. There are no nails here. There are absolutely no nails here. So I want you to take comfort in that. Because if we hear anyone being negative, anyone being mean to anybody else, we will immediately remove you from the experience. We have a 0% policy for people who are being nasty. There are no nails here. So I'm going to ask you for your engagement here. Lean in. Don't just sit back, lean in. I'm going to ask you, if you're also going to commit to helping us create an environment that has no nails, then please hashtag no nails in the chat. Hashtag no nails as your commitment as we're going through this experience. Thank you, Philip, for being the first person off the rails. All people saying no nails. You can see this, I can see this. I want you all to know we have a safe environment here. You have nothing to worry about. The only nail that exists is maybe the one for Dan under his chair one of the days. Now, even though I said this, even though I said there are no nails, you must know something very important. Even though I tell you there's nothing to fear, you are still going to feel fear. You are still going to feel fear. You're still going to feel it. We're all human. It's okay. So then you have to understand, even though you know there's a safe environment, you're still going to feel this. In approximately 3 minutes and 43 seconds, you're going to feel fear. But you see, when you do feel the fear, how do you turn fear into something that is way more useful? How do we turn fear into something like courage? How do we turn fear into courage? Because courage is going to be a lot more useful during your experience with me. You've got to understand that fear is a necessary ingredient that's involved for courage. Because if you're not scared, you can't be courageous. So what's the ingredient that we must add to fear? Well, the ingredient that you must add to fear is action. Action. You are going to feel the fear multiple times during the class. Every day, I'm going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. And when you feel the fear, again, it's counting down, you'll feel this in about 2.5 minutes. When you feel the fear, I want you to take action and do it anyway, because this is a safe environment. There are no nails here. There are none. So please, keep this in mind, the courage formula. And here's something really interesting that people tend to labor on. People go, oh, I wish I felt more courageous. I wish I felt more courageous. Courage is a feeling you feel after you've taken the action. You don't feel courageous before you've taken the action. Don't fall victim to that little mental flaw there that I used to fall victim to. Whereas I think, oh, I'm going to be courageous, and once I feel enough courage, then I'm going to do it. Well, then I bloody never did it. Because courage is a feeling that comes after the action is taken. Now, we're going to give you an opportunity, all of you, an opportunity to practice this. You see, because what is the most scary thing in the world? Well, if you Google this, people will say public speaking. Public speaking is by far the most scary thing in the world. Love what Jennifer just said. Let's run towards fear and do so enthusiastically if you can, or fearfully. But here's the thing. The most scary thing in the world is not public speaking. No, there's something far more scary. And the thing that is more scary than public speaking is what, you might ask? Well, it's public singing. Oh yeah. And if I'm going to ask you all to do something in a moment in your breakout rooms, well then I better do it first. You're feeling the fear right now in your stomach. Some of you feel your stomach sinking. Some of you are covering your faces. I see you, Shivana. I see you there, Femi. I see you, Alyssa. I see you, Tans. Tans looking a little bit excited, to be honest. Laurent is looking excited as well. Sick. Absolutely sick. No one should be excited for this. But again, if I'm going to ask you to do something, I'll do it first. So please remember this. You feel the fear right now? Let's practice courage, because courage is not something you immediately have. It's something you have to practice. Okay, I still hate doing this. Don't think that, oh, Vin's so confident, he doesn't care about this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this particular song more than any song in the world. Here we go. So 3, 2. Baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark, do 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 do. I hate this song. I hate this song so much. You have no idea. We've been playing this for the last 5 years. When does it stop? I've done it. Now you're all going to do it. This is how it works. Dan, I'd like you to put the link into the chat just for a moment. So please put the link into the chat. There's a link in the chat that you all must click. Open that page up, and on that page, we're going to come to the instructions in just a moment. I see some of you looking concerned. You should know that this was coming. It was a part of your homework. Why else would you memorize 20 seconds of a song? Why else would we do that? You must have known somewhere in your subconscious this is coming. So just in case, for those of you who need a moment to find a song, I'm going to give you a minute to go find your song. So we're going to play a little bit of music, find your song, find your lyrics. Let's get prepared. There are no nails, my friends. Here we go. You got 1 minute to find your songs. And welcome back. Interesting transitions. You see, right now, I know that all of you feel a little bit of fear. I can see some of you rocking back and forth. Some of you saying, someone get me tequila. No, we're not going to lean into substances. We're going to lean into our own discomfort and practice courage. So all of the fear that you may be feeling right now, I promise you, there's something so important here that if you do not address by being courageous in these next few moments, you're not going to learn this lesson fully. You're not going to learn this next lesson fully, because there's way more that this experience can teach you as opposed to what I can teach you. So lean into the experience. Goodness, you've already invested yourself into this, time, energy, and resources wise. Lean in. We'll see you back. Oh, instructions. You'll be in groups of about 8. You'll be in groups of about 8. Okay, when you're in your groups, you're going to go in alphabetical order. So I'm sorry if your name is Aaron with 2 A's, because you're going first, Aaron. Now, then after that, Aaron is not only going first, Aaron is going to be the team leader. He's going to step into leadership and practice leadership. And Aaron, after he finishes singing, Aaron will then call out the next person's name in the list and say, hey, Bianca, it's your turn. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go for it, Bianca. And then Bianca starts singing. Make sure you unmute yourselves. Otherwise, it doesn't really count, does it? So once you're in the rooms, I want, again, the person at the top of the list to be the person that starts first. You're also the leader that makes sure everybody has a turn. No pleasantries. I do apologize. A quick wave as you come in. Hi, everyone. Get on with the exercise. Don't delay the inevitable. On the landing page that you've all clicked, there's a very important thing you need. It's a 15-second timer. So I want to make sure you can see the 15-second timer right here. When it's your turn to sing, click the 15-second timer, because we don't want you singing the whole song. Okay, we don't, as good as you are, we don't want you singing the whole song. We want you to go to 15 seconds. Now, at the end of the 15 seconds, it should sound like this. Then your turn has ended, and now it's your time and your responsibility as the leader in the group to call the next person out. There are no nails. Dan, let's break them out. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Quick shout out to Mina's little girl. Hello. It's so lovely that you joined us. Hi. Oh, thank you for waiting. Oh, she's getting shy. She's disappearing. It's all good. Hello, sweetie. Good to see you. Well done on getting on your communication skills journey early. I love it. When I saw Tanya, and Tanya, I see you there, the black hair Tanya, obviously. I saw Tanya when she came back. She was kind of like, I didn't know what happened. What did he make us do? And it was so funny seeing the range of different faces as you come back. A lot of fun, says Michael. Again, sick. Who finds that fun? Now, as Vinh, you sick bastard. I truly am. I'm so sorry. It's who I am. Can't help it. But what we're going to do now is, remember that diamond? The triangle we drew at the beginning? First, we try and apply, right? And then we're going to review and reflect together. So as we review and reflect together, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. In the chat already, tell me, what was that experience like? It was too short, but what was it like? Tell me. Not too frightening. Isn't that interesting? It was so fun. It was terrifying, nerve-wracking, not bad, not prepared, not as scary as I thought, scary but fun. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes when we don't review and reflect, it's so easy to catastrophize the things that we try and then over-catastrophize it once you think about it 10 weeks later. But when you immediately review and reflect, you can be really objective about it. You can go, oh yeah, it was scary, but it wasn't that bad. Some people noticed things about their body language. Some people said it started super fun and then ended super scary. Fantastic. Well done. Now I'm going to ask you a yes or no question. So please type yes or no to this. I want to truly get a percentage here. Here's the question. Listen carefully. How many of you can tell me every single song title and name that was sung in the group? Who here can remember every single song, yes or no? Give me a stat, yes or no. Dan, let's do the percentage thing here. Let's get the percentage thing going. I want to get a bit of percentage. Look, 98% of you, still 98% boring, or 99% of you cannot remember the 8 songs. It was only 8 songs, but you can't remember it. So why do I bring this up? And swipe that away, Dan. It's hiding my beautiful face. Now, here's the thing. Sorry, I know I'm ugly. But what I want to share with you is this, is that 98% of you were not able to remember all the songs that were sung in the group. So when we feel fear, what are we fearing? That fear, the nerves you feel, what does that come from? It comes from the fear of judgment. So as you review and reflect and analyze this now, then as you think deeper about it, you go, wait a second. So wait, I felt scared and no one even remembered my performance? No one could even remember the song that I sang? What does that mean? It therefore now makes that fear almost invalid. It's a waste of your time because people don't even remember your performance. Yet we get stuck in our heads thinking, oh my goodness, I sang the song. I'm going to make sure, Rancher and we're going to have Fabine. They're going to remember the song. Then they're going to tell their children about the song. And then the children are going to pass on the information to their children's children. And they're going to talk about that one time they heard my terrible voice. No one remembers. And I say this next part not to be mean, but to free you from the fear of judgment during this experience. It's from Mark Twain. Mark Twain says the following. You worry less about what people think about you when you realize how seldom they do. Again, you will worry less about what people think about you when you realize how seldom they do. No one's thinking about you. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Sonam, for appreciating the baby shark. But still, no one cares, right? Whereas what happens is we get stuck in our own heads. And this fear that's not even real, when you sit and you review and you reflect upon it, this fear that's not even real causes us not to do the things we need to do in order to improve. So my friends, there are no nows. And going through the process now, what will you do differently? Maybe you'll sing with a little more courage. Maybe you'll sing a little more freely. Maybe you'll sing without the fear and your voice will actually sound different. Fear holds your voice back. It truly does. All right, that's kind of us going through that process together. You can see the power behind it. Now, grab your notes, or if you're tech savvy, take notes. It rather makes the information more sticky for you. Before we begin the process and move into vocal mastery and really masterclass it up, I want to make sure the universal laws are something that's super clear for all of us. All right, there are 5 core universal laws. And these stay consistent all throughout our experience together. We're laying the foundations, so we're going to build the tallest skyscraper. Now, number 1 is what we call 88 keys. 88 keys. I'm not going to do it in red. We're going to change it up a little bit, make it a little bit colorful. Remove. Okay, it's not going away. That's weird. All right, we'll make it blue and red. Now, 88 keys is something my vocal teacher used to always say. She used to always say this. She goes, Vin, your voice is an instrument. From that point in my life, I thought my voice was a tool. But she goes, no, your voice is an instrument. And the 88 keys refers to a piano. And she said to me, Vin, most people in their life, when they speak, do you know how they speak? They speak like this. They just use one key. I'm going to teach you how to speak like this. Use all of the different keys I have access to. Now, in this lesson in 88 keys, there's something you have to do in your brain, and it's called a reframe, meaning you have to approach communication skills quite different to how you would normally approach it. When I get my students to try different things with their voice, and again, an exercise is coming for you shortly. When I get you to do something with your voice, let's say I get you to do this, and I ask you to sound like Mickey Mouse. When I get some people to do that, they immediately go, no, can't do that, Vin. That's fake and it's phony. And the moment you think it's fake and phony, you no longer explore all the keys you have in your voice. You stop because you go, oh, it's fake and phony. So instead of thinking it's fake and phony, you must make a reframe in your mind. So you have to reframe it from fake and phony to thinking, when I use my voice like this, it's very familiar. And then when I use my voice like this, and even this, is just unfamiliar. So reframe from thinking fake and phony to just thinking unfamiliar. And the moment you just think unfamiliar, guess what? You now continue to explore your voice. Here is where most people stop already. They're just going to go, it feels inauthentic, not going to go anymore. Think unfamiliar. Continue the exploration. It's in my pocket. It's okay. Number two. Number two. The second universal law is only practice leads to improvement. Only practice will lead to improvement. Only practice will. And the reason I share this with you is that, again, you have to apply the things you learn. There are certain areas of expertise in the world where a cerebral understanding of that topic is enough. Kind of like mathematics. If you just understand it cerebrally, you can use it cognitively to be able to make decisions in life a little bit better. You can problem solve a little bit better. 1 + 1 is really 2. I get it, right? Whereas when it comes to communication skills, the way you speak is a series of behaviors. Behaviors require you to practice the things you're learning. You can't just cerebrally understand it. It's like swimming. You can't just keep reading about swimming. You can't just keep listening to people talk about swimming on podcasts and watching videos on Instagram. You actually have to jump in the water and practice those habits and behaviors. Same goes with swimming, same goes with communication skills. Number three. And number three, this is a gift for you to remember as you're going through this journey. All of your judgments, about you are temporary. All of the judgments about you that you have about you, in terms of how you communicate, they're all temporary. It's all temporary. Some of you might be sitting there thinking, oh, Vin, I sound boring when I talk. Vin, when I speak, I sound really soft. Vin, when I speak, I kind of feel like I'm a bit of a monotone. Vin, when I speak, I don't feel like I'm very charismatic. Cool, you can make those judgments, but those judgments are all temporary. Why? Because the way you speak is just a series of behaviors. Can you change a behavior? Yeah, you can. You absolutely can. So all of the judgments you have right now, they're temporary. Be kind to yourself during this process and understand that you could choose to change these behaviors in 14 years' time, in 4 years' time, in 4 days' time, or in 4 hours' time. It's up to you. They're just behaviors. It's kind of like putting your hands in pockets. My students tell me, they go, Vin, is it possible for me to change the way I sound? And I say to them, is it possible to change a behavior? The answer is yes, because the way you speak is just a series of behaviors. Just like hands in pockets. Can I take my hands out? Absolutely. Just a behavior I've gotten used to. That's all. Number 4, generosity. Generosity. When people think about generosity, they tend to think of it in the form of money. Okay? So when people think about generosity, they go, oh, someone who's being generous is someone who gives money. And they can see that transaction rather clearly, right? I give you $10, you give me 100. Wow, you're so generous. Why did we do that exchange, right? So again, generosity, we tend to think it in forms of money. But then when we sit there and we analyze the situation a little more, we go deeper. We go, oh, no, wait. No, money is a renewable resource. People who give us their time, oh, those people are more generous because time's a non-renewable resource. And then when you sit there, most people don't go past the second layer. There's a third layer of generosity, a transaction that's happening in every conversation that people are blind to. And the third form of generosity comes in the form of energy. Energy. There's an invisible transaction every single time you connect with another human being. Every single time you connect with another human being. And if you're being generous with your energy, what do we all know about generosity? When someone is being generous towards you, human beings, we're all wired to reciprocate that generosity. We can't help it. When someone's being really kind to you, unless you're a meanie and psychopath, but we're all not that here. Dan will be able to vet that. He'll be able to see you. But no, look, the thing is, when you're being generous with your energy, that invisible transaction causes other people to be kind, more compassionate, and more generous back to you. This is something we can train, generosity. So be generous with your energy in the breakout rooms. Be generous with this, because this is the invisible transactions that most people are blind to. And I can tell you, when I'm more generous with my energy, this is going to sound a little bit woo-woo, but because of the reciprocity effect, as a result of this generosity, I get abundance back in return. Number 4, the golden rule. Not the one in life, the one in communication. And the golden rule in communication helps you answer all of the questions that you tend to have. On my social media, I get thousands of questions like this every day. People say, hey, Vin, I put my hands in my pockets. Vin, is that a problem? Vin, when I talk, I pace around a lot. Vin, is that a problem? Hey, Vin, when I talk, I move my hands a lot. Vin, is that a problem? You can answer it with the golden rule. And the golden rule is this, write this down. If it distracts people from the message, it's a problem. If it distracts people from the message, it's a problem. I want you to watch this video here. This is a video of one of my students, and I've made it abundantly clear what's distracting people from her message. And this student of mine, she is a doctor, and I want you to watch what's robbing her of clarity, what's robbing her of her message. Have a look at this.
So throughout medical school, I've always wanted to be a physician. So, looking after your heart, lungs, and, I just went to the wards. And
you see that? With all of those ums and ahs, it decreases the clarity in her message. And as a result of that, it distracted people from that wonderful story that she was telling. So what did she do? She applied the golden rule, and then she removed the ums and the ahs away. And then watch what happens. Listen to her message now.
I went into medical school thinking that I've always wanted to just help humanity, save lives, do big changes. Little did I know that it's not all about saving lives in that life and death. It's about changing quality of life.
Big round of applause. That was amazing. Big round of applause indeed. But you see the power there. The power is that she applied the golden rule to herself. She tried something. She, again, reflected and reviewed. And then she made a plan to do something different. And what was her plan to do something different? I'm going to pause instead. And she recognized that what happened was, because again, the way you speak is a series of behaviors, she'd realized that she has gotten used to the behavior of saying and ah. So what she has to practice? She's got to practice pausing instead of that. And it created an incredible difference. These are the universal laws. Let's keep them front of mind. I'll bring them back time and time and time again. We're about to get into the meaty stuff. You see, now we're going to move into an area known as vocal foundations. And we're going to really masterclass this. So I'm going to go deeper than I even went into the online course. So when we're talking about vocal foundations, and Dan, I need my 5 volunteers ready soon. Okay, so let's paste it in the chat so they know who they are. And this is sudden death. We've picked 5 volunteers already. Vocal foundations. Cool. Now, there are 5 core vocal foundations. And the reason we're going to focus on vocal foundations is simply because in our society, we've become hyper obsessed about our visual image, how we come across visually, hyper obsessed about the clothes we wear, the way we do our hair, the watch, the belt, the shoes, the lot. But the reality is, with your visual image, your body language, and the things you wear, that's easy to achieve. It's easy to acquire the shirt, easy to acquire the pants, easy to acquire the belt, right? What's more difficult is to work on what's known as your vocal image. This is an area that most people neglect in their professional lives. And your vocal image is the image that people create in their minds the moment you open your mouth and you speak. And what controls how people shape you vocally in their minds is your vocal foundations. The 5 core ways in which we can use our voice. This is extracted from the world of music, because I once realized that people will listen to the same song over and over and over and over again. People, when they hear music, they're moved by music. Cinematographers and directors spend millions of dollars and pay that to Hans Zimmer so they can use his music tracks underneath their movie. And I realized that, wow, music has the key to moving people, causing people to feel. So I learned from the world of music and extracted that and put it into the world of communication. So what we're going to do now is learn vocal foundations, in which there are 5. Dan, do we have the 5 volunteers? All right, so could I get them up again, please, if you can? Thank you, Dan. Now, my 5 volunteers, a very important piece of information. We've got Nicole, Alan, Donica, Kenny, and Audrey. Your names are in the chat. Make sure you check it. I need you to have the landing page open. So make sure you've got the landing page open. And to my volunteers, you will also have a script on that landing page. You'll see it as script 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All of you who are not doing this, don't worry, your turn is coming. So again, as you see the link in the chat there, I'm going to bring up my first volunteer. And my first volunteer, Dan, is Nicole. So Nicole, once you jump on, unmute yourself, tell us where you're tuning in from, and say hello to everyone. Unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm tuning in from Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, Nicole, thank you for joining all the way from Boston. Please, can we give Nicole some love in the chat, please? Let's make her feel welcome. Nicole, first question I have for you is, can you see script number 1?
Yes.
All right, Nicole, I'm not going to say anything else. I'd like you to read that script for me, starting. There are no nails in 3, 2, 1, go for it.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you that I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you and I will kill you.
Can we give her a big round of applause, please? That was amazing. Absolutely outrageous, Nicole. Nicole, do you know what movie that was from?
No.
Oh, Nicole, how can you not know? Homework, look up Taken by Liam Neeson. Taken. Okay, so that's homework for you, Nicole. Nicole, I'm going to bring you back in just a moment. So this is how we're going to go through the foundations. We're going to get our volunteers to read the script, and then what we're going to do next is we're going to bring them back after I've taught the foundation. So Nicole, listen carefully. You see, the first foundation is rate of speech. Rate of speech. When it comes to rate of speech, when people don't learn how to use rate of speech, what happens is they fall victim to a default rate of speech. And anytime anything becomes default, it becomes non-functional. I'll prove it to you. So imagine I started our class virtually. Imagine I did this. Okay? Imagine I jumped on and I went, hi, everyone. It's great to be here. You're probably freaking out at this point thinking, I'm going to open a new tab and see what's happening on Netflix. Oh, they've made many versions of Taken. And you would have left and not enjoyed this experience. So what that tells us is that a slow default rate of speech is not effective, nor is it engaging. But then what if I did the following? What if I did the polar opposite and I jumped on like this? I used to do this all the time. Hi friends, really good to be here. Really excited to take you through the vocal foundations. There are 5 vocal foundations. We'll learn how to visualize ourselves and we'll also learn how to improve ourselves vocally. And then after that, if we do that, we amplify the best parts of who we are. Excited? You're probably thinking, do Asian Australians breathe? So what you have to understand is that a fast default rate of speech is not effective, nor is it impactful. But here's where it gets really strange as we masterclass this. If I stick to a fairly engaging rate of speech as I am right now, what happens after a while is if I don't really delay my rate of speech or change my rate of speech or vary my rate of speech, what started as being really engaging after a while rather becomes monotonous, doesn't it? The key here is variety. However, we must use variety with meaning. And the meaning component lies here. Very simple rule with rate of speech. If what you're speaking about is very important, slow down. Notice how when I speak quickly, it doesn't seem as important as when I slow down. It seems more critical, doesn't it? So as you slow down, it acts as an auditory highlight, indicating to your listener that this bit that I'm slowing down on, that bit is vital. Whereas if it's not as important, you can speed up. And here's where we masterclass this really further than I even did in the online course, right? Is because if you look at rate of speech as having a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being pausing and you're not talking, 1 being painfully slow, and then 10 being you talking quickly as you possibly can. Now, the problem that most people experience when they're playing with their rate of speech is most people get comfortable around here. And that's all they play with. So they speak at a decent rate of speech like this, they speed up a little bit, and then they slow down just a little bit, and then they speed up a little bit, and they play within a very small range. Whereas when it comes to rate of speech, if you want to become masterful with it, you have to be able to explore the full range of your rate of speech, which most people never do. Most people, I can tell you now, again, fall victim to just a default rate of speech. So when they speak, they don't realize it, but because they've never been taught this, they just stick again, to give you an example, to a default rate of speech. And then as a result of this, most people tune out after a while because they can't identify while you're talking what's important and what's not important. So can you see deep within rate of speech is not only engagement, but it's clarity. You can help make a communication more clear to the listener by slowing down on the most critical components. If it's not as important, you can speed up to create energy. That's the difference. And you want to explore your entire range of rate of speech. Don't just get stuck here and play in your comfort zone. Now, let's bring back Nicole, Dan. So we're going to bring back Nicole. So hello, Nicole. Nicole, as we bring you back, we're going to get you to read that again. However, Nicole, I don't want you to do this. Okay, I don't even want you to get stuck on rate of speech 5. I want you to play with the entire scale. Throughout this script, I want bits that are really quick, and then I want bits that are really slow. Obviously, Nicole, the bits where you're going to kill them, I'm going to kill you slowly, slow as you possibly can. All right? Get out of your comfort zone, Nicole. There are no nows. Here we go. Have fun with it. Make faces if you want. In 3, 2, go for it.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have the money. But what I do have are very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let go of my daughter, if you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you and I will kill you.
Give her a big round of applause. Keep her there. Keep her there. Big round of applause for attempt 1. I'm going to get you to do it again. What I noticed you did there, Nicole, is, and again, this is a live example for all of you to learn from. What happened was, when she started her performance, what happened was this. She was really quick, and then she stumbled a little bit, so she went a bit slower, and then she went back to quick, and then she went back to slow. Okay? What I want you to do in this script, okay, so this is our scale, 0, 5, 10. What I want you to do, Nicole, is within each sentence, I want you to do this. Within each sentence, I want bits that are fast and bits that are slow. Within each sentence. Within each. So I want you to try it again, slow down, and I want you to just go again, okay? So fast and then slow in a sentence. Fast and then slow in a sentence. And then extra slow at the end. In 3, 2, go for it. Oh, you muted yourself. You can unmute yourself. She can't unmute, Dan. You're going to have to unmute her. Dan's got you. Here we go.
Okay.
In 3, 2, go for it.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Give her a big round of applause. That was unbelievable. Lots of love in the chat, please. Unbelievable effort there, Nicole. Well done. Absolutely well done. Can you see the difference? Can you see the difference between the first time, the second time, and then the third time? That's the power of using our entire range of rate of speech. One single foundation, and you can see the level of engagement completely transform. Imagine if you learnt all 5 and used them all at the same time. Number 2, could I get my second volunteer, please, Dan? Second volunteer. Oh, hello, Alan. Alan, unmute yourself. Tell us where you're from. Say hello.
Hey, this is Alan from Dallas, Texas.
Hey, Alan. Great to see you. Love the mustache. Things I can't grow. 6 months, my friend. 6 months. So, Alan, can you see script number 2?
Yes, I can.
Alan, I'd like you to read that for me in 3, 2, there are no nows. Go for it.
Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that, from one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
Yes, Alan, what movie is this from?
Sounds like Braveheart.
Yes, correct. I was gonna take points away again. Well done, Alan. Well done. He did great. Let's show him lots of love in the chat. Alan, I'm gonna bring you back in just a moment. Well done. You knew what it was. Nice work. Brownie points you can't do anything with. Number 2 is volume. Volume is an incredible foundation. All right. When it comes to volume, volume is the lifeblood of your voice. It's the lifeblood of your voice. And you have to understand that with volume, there's also a scale from 0, 10, and 5. Right? There's also a scale, and 0 again being pausing because you're not making any sound. And then it's really from 1 onwards. 1's whispering. 10's being obnoxiously loud. Now, I can tell you now, when Alan was reading that, Alan was sitting around about a 4. Okay, sitting around a 4, he stuck to a 4 as a default, which is fine, which is totally fine. However, when it comes to volume, you have to understand something. Volume is one of the primary foundations in which we can show energy. When we're using lower levels of volume, people perceive us to have less energy, okay? And they perceive a couple of things when we can push ourselves up to, say, around about a 7. If you push yourself up to around a 7, which I'm doing right now, then what happens is people perceive you with the following qualities. The first one, people perceive you to have more authority. Note it down. Second one, people perceive you to have more confidence. Whether you feel it or not, people will perceive you to have it. The next one, people will perceive you to have more vitality. That's vitality, energy, enthusiasm, etc. And the fourth one, when you use strong levels of energy, it shows people that you believe in the things you're saying. It helps that come across more. Watch what happens now if I kind of bump it down to say, I'm going to be really dramatic, and I'm going to bring my volume down to a 2. So if I drop my volume to a 2, watch what happens to how your perception of me actually changes. Okay, so this is Vinh, 2 out of 10. Hi everyone, it's really good to be here. I'm super excited to be able to take you through the core foundations of great communication. And you notice what happens to my level of authority, confidence, vitality? Does it seem like I fully believe in the things I'm saying? Now listen, I want to make this very clear. I'm not saying that a lower volume is bad. I'm saying that anything in communication that you stick to as a default becomes non-functional. Because if I walk around being a 10 at all times, then that's just bloody annoying, isn't it? Then that's when my wife will just punch me in the throat. Right? She's got tiny little powerful fists. And that's what I want you to realize, is that it's not that any of this is bad. It's when you stick to it as a default. That's when it becomes non-functional. Now, when it comes to volume, it's different. Because volume is a unique foundation in that when it comes to volume, let's say that this is 0 and this is 1, this is 10 and 5. When it comes to volume, you can use lower volumes. You're able to use lower volumes to really highlight a point. So when you're using between, say, 1 and 3, lower volumes, you can use quieter volumes to highlight a point. But you can also at the same time use louder volume to be able to highlight a point. It's really powerful. I'll give you an example. So if I wanted to highlight a point, I can use a quiet volume. If I'm default around 5, so again, I'm using a strong 5 right now, and then I say to you, there's one thing I want you to remember from our experience together. The golden rule. But notice what happens if I just stay here now, and this becomes my new default. Notice how it started off as a wonderful way to highlight a point, but now that I'm stuck here, it no longer does anything, it's non-functional. Isn't that interesting? So when you use volume shifts temporarily, and you shift down to a quieter volume temporarily, it can be used as a highlight. That's why gangsters in movies, when they tell you they're going to kill you, they say it really quietly. They go, "Hey, I'm going to kill you," and then you poop your pants, right? You know, they don't say, "Hey man, you're dead." No, they whisper it. What you can also understand is that when it comes to volume, not only does a lower volume be used for highlighting, you can use a stronger volume too. You can. You can say, if there's one thing you need to grasp, make sure you remember the golden rule. That's the power of volume. I'm going to bring back Alan. Alan, when you join me again, Alan, I want you to use the entire range. Okay, Alan, you know Braveheart. At the end of the scene, this is when Mel Gibson is charging everyone into war. They're on their horses. I need you at the end to give me a level 10 volume. I need the other people in the room, in your house, to go, "What were you doing, Alan? What were you doing in the room?" So please, again, not just quiet at the beginning and loud at the end. I want all through this script, quiet and loud, but the loudest is reserved for right at the end. Loudest, I remind you, Alan, in 3, there are no nows, 2, 1, go for it.
Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live, at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that?
Louder.
From one chance,
Louder.
just one chance to come
Louder.
back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Give him a big round of applause. Good. I know I'm pushing you very far out of your comfort zone. Can you see what happened here? What happened when Alan started to use more volume? Give him lots of love in the chat. What happened was his face started to come to life. When you use more volume, your body comes to life and your face comes to life, which is how people perceive vitality and energy. That's the power of volume. Well done, Alan. Well done. That was fantastic. Number 3, pitch and melody. Pitch and melody. Now, can I get my next volunteer, please? Next volunteer. Thank you, Danica. Now, Danica, all I'm going to ask you is to read. Oh, first of all, tell us where you're tuning in from, of course.
I'm from Reston, Virginia.
Oh, lovely. So good to have so many people from the US join us. This is lovely. I used to live in America. I miss it terribly. But Danica, can you see the 3rd script?
Yes.
Without knowing too much of what to do, I'd like you to just read that for me as you would in 3, 2, there are no nows.
Want to know how I got those scars? My father was a drinker and a friend. And one night, he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy gets the kitchen knife to defend herself. He does not like that. Not one bit. So, me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. Turns to me and he says, "Why so serious, son?" Comes at me with the knife. Why so serious? He sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face. And why so serious?
Oh, you did amazing. Can we give her lots of love? This is the one where you don't really need the after. That you did amazing. I love that you're playing with rate of speech already. I can see you slowing down consciously for certain bits and speeding up. Absolutely lovely. Can we give her lots of love? I'm going to bring you back in just a moment, Danica. Well done. See how powerful that is? She's already playing with some of the foundations as she's learning it. She's applying as she's going. Now, the thing with pitch and melody is, to create lots of clarity for all of you, I want you to understand one thing. Pitch and melody is the different notes you can hit, all the different pitches. Okay, so that's pitch. And then melody is the sequence of all the different pitches. All right. Now, I'm going to play for you a piano song. And as you listen to this piano song, I want you to tell me in the chat what words come to mind as you're listening to these piano songs. So type the words that you think of when you hear these tracks. Have a listen to this. Oh, I love this. Look at all the words we're getting. We've got sad, calm, relax, dramatic, melancholy. We've got somber, lost, thoughtfulness. Look at all the beautiful words we're getting, right? Now, next one. We're going to do one more. Actually, we'll do 2 more. Listen to this song, and please type for me. Really get creative with it. What words come to mind when you're listening to this one? Oh, I love this. I love this. Someone actually wrote Vinh, which I thought was hilarious. Thank you. That's just the sound that I play in my head every time I walk into a room. Not really, but thank you. It's very kind of you. Morning, motivation, inspiration, calming, building to something, hiking on a mountain with fresh air. That is oddly specific. We've got drive, we've got goodness, anticipation, church. I love this. Okay, one more. This is the soundtrack in my household when my wife tells me to do something and I don't do it. Oh yeah, this is what I call don't piss, pay when off. Yes, that's right. Do chores as told, immediately, not later, as I tend to say. But look at all the words you're saying. Scared, dark, beware, public speaking. I love that one. Vinh, in trouble. Four, the number 4 in Chinese. I love the callback. Tension, hell. Vinh, take the bins out. Thank you, Ivan. I've noted. Darth Vader, Monday morning. See, all of the words that you've been able to attach to just a sequence of pictures. Here's the crazy thing about melody. Every time you walk into a room, you open your mouth and you speak, there's a melody that exists within your voice. There's a melody that exists underneath every communication that you have. This is why sometimes we say, oh, when Rayan or when Phil or when Bill, when they walk into the room, they lift the energy in the room. What are people talking about when they make those calls? They're talking about the melody that exists in your voice. And one of the simplest, but one of the most profound ways to increase your vocal variety in terms of your pitch variety is by using what's known as the siren technique. And the siren technique is simple as this. Let's say you've got a book. All you have to do with this is practice it once a day and twice a day if you want to be hardcore, and you just do it for 5 minutes. You grab a book, and when you're reading the book, you start with a really low note as you're reading it, and then you just gradually go to a higher note. And then for the men out there, don't be afraid to go into the falsetto and go as high as you possibly can. And then after that, you go all the way back down and you go low as you can as well. You just go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. 5 minutes. It's exhausting. But what it does is it allows you to expand your pitch variety. It allows you to become more familiar with all the different bits and sounds that you can make with your voice. Because if you never become familiar with it, you always judge it negatively. And if you never explore it, you won't realize what you have access to. So I'm going to bring back my Danica. Danica, as you join me again, I would like you to use this time the siren technique for me. And this time, one thing I'm going to call out on is I want you to practice some of your faster rates of speech too. To not be afraid of it, but not too fast, obviously. So go slow and fast, but also do the siren technique for me. Up and down all throughout it, because it matches the Joker, right? It makes you seem more crazy. 3, 2, no nows.
Want to know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker.
Good.
And a fiend.
Good.
And one night, he goes off crazier than usual.
Higher.
Mommy gets the kitchen knife to defend herself.
Higher.
He does not like that. Not one bit. So, me watching. He takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. Turns to me and he says, "Why so serious, son?" Comes at me with the knife. "Why so serious?" He sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face. And why so serious?
Now, give her a big round of applause. That was brilliant. Well done. Well done. I can see you getting out of your comfort zone there. And look, if you didn't feel silly, it meant you did it wrong. And you did a great job. Can we give her lots of love there? I love this. Can you see her applying or going lower and higher, expanding that vocal range? Before I learned about this, I just spoke like this because I thought, again, the voice is just a tool, right? So if the voice is just a tool and I can only see generosity transactions as money or time, I didn't realize there was an invisible transaction happening every time I open my mouth. Do you notice what happens? When I changed my approach to communication, when I started to play with my instrument as opposed to use a tool, everything changed. Engagement, reciprocity, and more progress in my life. Number 4. Well done. You did fantastic, Danica. Well done. Number 4, I'm going to bring on my 4th volunteer, Kenny. Hello, Kenny. Unmute yourself and tell us where you're tuning in. Kenny, you look really familiar. Feel like we've met before. Tell us where you're tuning in from, Kenny.
Tuning in from right outside Washington, D.C.
Hey, Kenny. So, Kenny, I'd love you to see script number 4. Can you see script number 4?
I can.
All right, Kenny. I'd like you to read that for me. There are no no's. In 3, 2, go for it.
I love that you get that little crinkle above your nose when you're looking at me like I'm nuts. And I love that you're the last person I want to talk to before I go to bed at night. And it's not because I'm lonely, and it's not because it's New Year's Eve. I just came here because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
Oh, Kenny, that was so beautifully read. I felt it in the feels. Can we give Kenny a big round of applause? And in the chat, please, what movie is that from, everyone? I think people already guessed it. It's when Vinh met, Yeah, love it, love it, love it. Okay, I won't complete that sentence. But as we continue with this, the next one we're getting into is number 4, which is tonality. Tonality. And tonality, different from pitch and melody, okay? Tonality, it's definitely not when Vinh met Dan. Okay, someone just said that was when Vinh met Dan. No, I did not feel that much love for him the first time I met him. But anyway, back to this. Tonality is different from pitch and melody because, write this down, tonality is the emotive meaning, right? It's the emotional qualities underneath your voice. The emotive meaning that lives underneath your voice. Now, in psychology, they've researched this and understand that there are 6 core human emotions. Okay, so note these down. You've got happy, sad, angry, disgust, surprise, and fearful. And they've recently added a 7th, contempt. Okay? Now, when it comes to these 7 core human emotions now, when it comes to these 7 core human emotions, there's a correlating facial expression with each one of them. And we're going to try an experiment here. And I want you to do this on camera because I can see you there, Storm. I can see you, Calvin. I can see you there, Ross. I'd like you to the camera, please. I'd like you all to make a face, and I'd like you all to make a disgusted face for me, please. So make a disgusted face, just to give you a bit of a hand on this. Sanai, that was really good. That was a really good disgusted face. The other day I walked into my house, my dog pooped all over the house. Gave her the wrong treats. So just imagine walking into poo and then disgusted face, please, and make a disgusted face. And in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to get you all to say good morning, everyone, with a really disgusted face. So we'll say good morning, everyone, in 3, 2, 1. Say it, please, out loud. Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you, but you sound disgusting. I know it. Next question I got for you. Next experiment, I'd like you to make a really shocked face. So shocked, like good shock, like happy shock, like oh my goodness, surprise parties. Oh, good on you, Deshaun. That was a really good shock face. So we're going to say good morning, everyone, with a really shocked face. Okay, I'll count you down in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, I don't even have to hear you. I know you sound shocked. What are you trying to say here, Vin? The point I'm trying to make here is very simple, and this is the point. Write this down. Your face is the remote control that allows you to inject emotion into your voice. I know how eloquent. Your face is the remote control that allows you to inject emotion into your voice. For the longest time, I never really moved my face. I grew up in a Vietnamese household. My parents have been through a lot of terrible experiences in their life, and as a result, they have a lot of suppressed feelings and never showed emotion. So as a result of growing up, I also never showed emotion on my face. I didn't realize the value behind facial expressions when it comes to effective communication. And I want to further push this experience here, okay? I want you to listen to the singer here. And as you listen to this singer, in the first video, she's not using facial expressions. And just experience it, okay? Just experience it. And a quick answer to Mel there. Tonality, you use the visual, you use your body language, facial expressions, to influence how you sound. That's what it is there. So you're using facial expressions to add emotion into your voice. Listen to this clip of this singer and just kind of reflect as you're watching this and analyze it and just notice what's going on. We're going to contrast her singing with no facial expressions and then with. And I want to talk about the difference. Here we go.
Dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living. I dreamed that love would never die.
Now let's listen to it with facial expressions and just experience this and notice the difference. And I'll call it out after as we analyze.
I sighed. He filled my days with endless wonder. He took my childhood in his stride, but he was gone when autumn came.
Oh, I love this. I love this. You see, when you start to really review and reflect different things and you start to break the behaviors down, the moment she added facial expressions, something else happened. You see, in the first video, when she didn't use facial expressions, you heard the song. You could hear the lyrics, you could hear the words. But then when she started to sing the song and use facial expressions, now you felt it. You didn't just hear it, you felt it. There are people who, when they talk, you just hear their words. But then there are people, when they talk, you feel what they're saying. And the difference in facial expressions. Let's bring back Kenny. So was it Kenny, Dan? I believe it was. Yes, thank you, Kenny. Thank you. I know you're back there. Kenny, this time I'm going to tell you when to change facial expressions, okay? We're going to unmute Kenny as well, Dan. Yeah, you already have? So remind you to just, yeah, thank you, Kenny. So Kenny, as we go into this, Kenny, I'd like you to start with a really angry facial expression, and I'll tell you when to change faces. All right, so let's get angry, please. Look angry for me, Kenny. Thank you. So angry, come on. Yes, good. And start reading the script in 3, 2, go for it. Angry.
I love that you get that little crinkle above your nose when you're looking at me like I'm nuts.
Disgusted, disgusted.
And I love that you are the last person that I want to talk to before I go to bed at night.
Shocked, shocked, shocked.
And it's not because I'm lonely. And it's not because it's New Year's Eve.
Happy.
I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody,
sad.
You want the rest of your life. You want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
Oh, can we give Kenny a big round of applause? That was absolutely outrageous. That was so darn good. Kenny, well done. Let's give him lots of love in the chat. See the power of tonality. That is the power when we start to emote more and use our facial expressions more. You are seeing again, example after example after example of what happens when you start to create more variety when it comes to the foundations. Number 5, last volunteer, Dan. Audrey. Hello, Audrey. Tell us where you're tuning in from. Say hello. Dan's going to unmute you, don't worry. He's going to do it in just a second. All right, here we go. You can unmute now, I believe. There you go.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Audrey. I'm from Australia. I'm based in Sydney.
Hey, we got our first Aussie. Fantastic, Audrey. Thank you. Can you see the 5th script on the page there?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Audrey, I'd like you to read that as you would in 3, 2, go for it.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, Commander of the Army of the North, General of the Felix Legion, loyal servant to the true Emperor, Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Oh, can we give her a big round of applause? That was lovely. Unbelievable rendition of Gladiator. Well done. You've done the Aussies proud. Russell Crowe would be proud. Now, number 5 is the pause. The pause is powerful for multiple reasons. The first reason why the pause is absolutely critical, write this down, number 1, is the pause gives people time to process what you're saying. So when you pause, people process. Notice how you just processed what I just said? Notice how you're processing again. Every single time I pause, it gives you a moment to collect yourself and just kind of really recalibrate what's going on. Whereas when people don't realize this and they just keep talking, and that's something I used to do, I'll give you an example right now, and I can just keep talking because I know my content. I've been teaching this for many years, and if I just keep talking like this, I'm not giving you time to process anything. And do you know what happens after a while? Confusion. I'm not using rate of speech to create clarity. I'm not using volume to highlight certain parts. I'm not using pitch and melody to make things more engaging. I'm not adding any emotion. And on top of this, I don't pause. So all of a sudden, people have no time to process anything. Now, the next reason why the pause is so important is you saw this example with my student who was a doctor. When you're not comfortable with, when you're not comfortable with this, do you know what happens? You say and ah a lot. And you're using and ah, which are non-words, you use those to fill the silence. That's what you do. You use to fill the silence. Because, I'm just, not comfortable with it. And what happens if you have ums and ahs all over your speech? You decrease the clarity of your message. So you want to learn to get really comfortable with this. So it removes all of your non-words and your filler words. And here's a very advanced technique for the pause. The pause can be used to intensify the previous emotion expressed. I'll explain. So let's say, for example, I'm really happy and I'm like, oh, I want to share with you something incredible has happened. That's a pause of excitement and happiness, right? But if I use the pause and let's say the emotion before was, you know, I'm sharing with you something with a sad emotion and a sad facial expression, and then I pause. It's a pause of sadness. So the pause can be used to intensify previous emotions. It's an intensifier of emotions. So look, with that being said, I'm going to bring back Audrey. And Audrey, I want you to pause in some of these sections, okay? But I don't want just like a pause like this, and then you keep talking. No. I want to pause like that. And there are key parts here, Audrey, you know, because they murdered his entire family, obviously. So I want you to pause really specifically after those moments. And I want you to give me an angry tonality, more volume as well. Now that we've got dials, I want more volume, angry tonality, lots of pauses. A lot of challenges for you there in 3, 2, go for it.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the Army of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor,
Pauses.
Marcus Aurelius. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife,
Pause.
and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Yes, give her a big round of applause. We're all going to war with you. We're all going to war, Audrey. We're all going to war. We will avenge you and your family. But can you see how powerful that was? And do you notice what happened the moment she started to give herself permission to be playful? Body language came into play, started to use rate of speech, volume, pitch and melody, and also on top of that, tonality. You see, you are robbing yourself of more abundance in your life if you're not learning how to play your instrument, but forever be in life and always using this instrument. No, don't use it. Play with it. Audrey, thank you for being an outstanding example there. Can we give lots of thanks to every single one of our volunteers? Now, we are today, unfortunately, going to be about 4 minutes over. So I do apologize. If you can stay, please do stay. Please do stay. But if you can't stay for the very end, it's okay. We're 4 minutes over today. Here's what we're going to do now. Now what's going to happen is you're all going to practice this. Knowledge application time. This is where you try and you apply. So my friends, I want you to make sure you've got a book close by. You should have come with a book ready. So make sure you've got a book or something close by. We'll just give you a couple of seconds to get that ready. In a moment, you're going to be in groups of about 4, okay? And what I want you to do is, and if you're in a group of more than this, then I want you to understand one thing. Dan, can we bring up the slides?
Sure.
So when you go to the landing page for today, you will see at the bottom of the landing page, you'll see All Stars Challenge Participant 1. What we've done, make sure you get the link in the chat open, okay? So make sure everyone's got the link in the chat open. When you go to the bottom of that page, you should see this video here, which says Participant 1, All Stars Challenge. If in your group there's more than 4 people or more than 3 people, then I want you to just go back to Participant 1. I'll explain. If there's 3 people, person 1 to 3 is Participant 1, 2, and 3. If there's 4 people, the 4th person becomes Participant 1. The 5th person becomes Participant 2 again. So there's just a repeat of the activity. All right. So if you're in your groups and you're not person 1, 2, or 3 because you're further down in alphabetical order, then you just hit one of the challenges and you go ahead and you do the challenge. This is how it works. You've got your book there. You open it. You press the video. Okay. If you're participant 1, you press the video. Then you'll hear my voice say, start reading with your standard speech. So just read as you normally would. So Vinh is just pretending to read as he normally does. Then in the video, you'll hear me say, volume 9. Then you've got to keep reading, but you've really got to bump up that volume. Then you'll hear me say, siren technique. Then you've got to read really low, and then after that, go really high and not be afraid of the falsetto. And then after that, you've got to go all the way back down again. And then after that, what you do is if you hear me say tonality sad, you have to read with a sad face. All right, my friends. Dan, can we make sure on the breakout rooms, there's about 12 minutes on it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, my friends. Get out of your comfort zone. There are no nails. Even if it feels really kind of really uncomfortable, push through it, because fear requires action before it becomes courage. See you back in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. As you're flowing back in, I know that was the jumping jacks that I threw in there. Listen. I know that some of you, if you didn't get a turn, don't panic. This is the challenge for those of you who didn't get a turn, okay? For those of you who didn't get a turn, I want you to record yourself doing the exercise, and then I want you to send it to me on social media, all right? And if you're game enough to post it publicly, I will reshare it. So if you're game enough, if you want that experience of that fear to practice courage, I would love you to practice it and record the video. You can, if you send it to me privately, then I'll respect that. I might watch and heart it. But if you send it to me publicly, I'm gonna reshare it. I told my social media team that if any student is brave enough to do that challenge publicly, I will share it. First question to you is this. How did it feel in the chat, please? How did it feel? How did it feel? What was it like? Even if you did do a practice, you can send it to me. You're more than welcome to. Weird, fun, oh my God. Okay, I love the examples. We've got applauses. We've got awesome. Someone said Kenny. I like that. We've got so good, amazing. Well done, everyone. I love this. Had to concentrate a lot. Jumping jacks, Vin, what are you thinking? I'm going to keep you guessing. Now, this is what I want you to do for homework. For homework, Dan's going to give you one other piece of homework. But my homework to you, take it through the process. So tonight what you're going to do is after you finish this, if you've got time, just reflect and review. Just pay attention to write a few things down. Just what did you experience? What was it like? How did you feel? What felt familiar? What felt unfamiliar? What felt easy? What felt hard? Just review and reflect. And think about if you were to do it again and post on social media if you're brave. Because again, no one truly cares. No one does. You care more than they care. They actually don't care. And then if you write plans on how you would improve, I'm going to push volume more. I'm going to push more faces. Then after that, try again and apply. Post it on social media again. Tag me. I might just share your face with 3 million people on Instagram. All right, I'm going to throw this over to Dan, but just before I throw it back over to Dan, I just want to give you one quote that I absolutely love. I look at the voice as being the instrument, and if you want to get more out of life, this quote helps in all realms of life. It's from Steve Martin, who says, "Be so good they can't ignore you." Oh, I love this. Don't blame the world for not the things you, don't blame the world when you don't get the things you want. Just think to yourself, how can I get better? How can I improve? How can I become so good they can't ignore me? And the answer's here. You practice and you try and apply. Then after that, you take it through the mastery process. Dan, I'm just going to say, please use Slido as I bring it up. So let me try it again. There you go. They just come up there. So make sure if you've got questions about communication skills, you can ask me there. Read through it. If your question's already there, upvote it. I'll be making a separate video today. And I'll be posting that separate video answering the questions underneath today's recording, which will be up in about 3 to 4 hours. Dan, back to you.
Alrighty, hey everyone, and with that we are done with day one. I just want to call out and acknowledge the courage that you've all demonstrated throughout today. Specifically, I'm sure many of you were highly, highly anxious, if not in a state of terror, thinking about having to sing in front of others. And I know that because I've been through this process and that was where I was at. And before any of you call it out in chat, not all Asians enjoy karaoke, okay? So, well done to you all. How is that for the start of 2024, singing Baby Shark to a group of internet strangers? If you can get through that with a smile on your face, I'm pretty sure you are perfectly suited for anything else that will be thrown at you for the rest of this year. So we will be uploading the recording and providing the link, as Vin said, in the next 4 to 6 hours, and I will email that to everyone. So for those of you who have not been receiving emails or haven't been receiving the calendar invitations, please email us at support@vinjang.com. So I'm just pasting that into the chat now. It's just there, support@vinjang.com. Yeah, and again, as Vin said, please don't forget, if you've got any questions, we're using Slido, so just over there, just make sure you just post them there, up for other people's questions and whatnot, because Vin is going to answer them all. Now, final thing for today, homework. Okay, so what we'd love for you to do is to just think about an origin story, and that is a story that has shaped you and turned you into the person who you are today. This does not have to be a TED Talk, doesn't have to be anything majorly emotional, or could be big, small, whatever you want, but basically nothing to worry about. It's just a 3-minute story. Please make sure you don't go over 3 minutes. It has to be 3 minutes or under. Don't worry about structure, we'll work on that together, and you have to make sure you have that by day 3. Okay, so we'll remind you tomorrow anyways, but make sure you've got it for day 3. All right, that is it. Thank you again for attending day 1 of the Stage Virtual Masterclass. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for breaking out of your comfort zones. Get some rest, And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 2. Alrighty. Bye, everyone.